Is author Charisma. I'm coming at you with an advice video. I was requested by a few people to give advice in regards to self-publishing a book. I have some other videos in regards to self-publishing, but this one specifically will talk about writer's block. A lot of new writers and authors tend to shy away from writing because in the very beginning they may not have that idea flowing. They may have an idea but they can't get the words to flow. So this video will be all about how to deal with writer's block. And sometimes seasoned authors and writers have difficulty with dealing with writer's block, and it can cause them to quit the project or put the project on hold for a long period of time. So to prevent that, I'm going to talk about writer's block. I have some tips, some bullet points that I want to hit. I've written them down here so I don't forget anything. And I hope that it helps you with your writing process. So basically, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, I'm author Charisma. I have been writing since childhood, but I started to write a novel, my very first novel, in 2001. I had a lot of issues with writer's block, and I also had problems with completing the novel once I got about halfway. I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in, so I put the novel to the side. I even lost the novel for about a year. Someone had borrowed it to read it, and I didn't get it back until a year later. So it was a lot of things that were challenges, but I was able to complete it 5 years later in 2006. So I didn't let writer's block or any other hurdles keep me from completing that first novel. And so after I started with that one, then the subsequent novels and books just came really quickly and easily for me. Um, what I want to get into now is how do I deal with writer's block. Um, I don't force it. I don't make myself write. I don't, you know, down myself or say negative things to myself because I just have hit a bump. What I do is I write when I feel. Writing is an art, just like drawing a picture, just like creating music or any other form of art. You do not want to force it. You want it to come out organically and naturally and smooth. You don't want it to feel forced because it will translate in your actual product. Okay, so what you want to do is put it to the side until you feel comfortable writing. Write a little bit at a time if you have to. A lot of people get the energy and the muse to write at night or in the middle of the night. So you may want to keep like a journal, a pen next to your bed, and when you get that urge to write, it'll be right there waiting for you. So that's a technique that a lot of people use, including myself. I get a lot of muse from my dreams. I have very interesting dreams, so when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I'll jot down some story ideas that way as well. I also go to places that cause me to be more creative. So, for instance, going to the park, going to the beach, nature. Nature is a really good driving force for creativity. So, I would suggest getting yourself in a setting that's comfortable. For some people, they like lots of noise. So, if you're into that type of environment, get you that type of environment with music or, background noise or whatever. Different people have different strokes that work for them. Okay? Think about when you try to meet any other type of goal in your life. How do you get it done? What works for you the best? That's what you want to implement with when it comes to writing a story, a novel, a poem, whatever you're writing. You can use those same goals and objectives that you use to meet anything, any mission that you're trying to complete. Um, and that leads me to my next point. You want to create realistic goals and deadlines. Now, deadlines can make a lot of people nervous, including myself. Make them realistic. Don't say, I'm going to write this 500-page book by next week. Okay, that's unrealistic. You need to break it down into portions. Maybe I'll complete the first chapter by next week. Okay, that's a little bit more realistic, and you want to have objectives on how you're going to be able to meet the goal. Okay, so in order for me to complete this chapter, let's say it's about 30 pages in that first chapter, or 10 pages, or whatever the length, I'm going to break it up. Each day I'm going to write 2 or 3 pages. Until the end of the week, I should have close to my goal, and then I can review what I have written. So that is something else that you can do. You can break it down into portions. Instead of looking at it as just a big old project, it becomes overwhelming. It's like trying to digest a big piece of steak versus breaking it down, cutting it down into small pieces that you can actually digest. Okay? So that's basically my introduction to dealing with writer's block. I may come out with another video later on saying how, what works for me, maybe some things that I may have forgotten in this video, but try those things out. Just remember, you do not want to put pressure on yourself, okay? You want to be able to write from your heart, your soul, and don't worry about grammar in the beginning. Don't worry about spelling in the beginning. Just creatively write. And later on, and when it's time for the editing process, you can get yourself, in that mindset of, okay, now I need to be more technical. Or you may have someone that's willing to assist you, an editor, an evaluator that can go behind you and clean up, those little tweaks that you need to make to the project. But in the beginning, just free write. Just enjoy yourself. It should be an enjoyable experience, not a stressful experience. So check me out on Facebook, author Kharisma, Kharisma. I'm also the same name on YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram. So check me out and see if I have released any subsequent videos to this one. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.